It's just, every now and then, like a little bit of a shift in perspective is really healthy. And as a leader, I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to grow and offer something new.
One of the things you said, I really love that, is a leader's measures on how many new leaders you're creating.
I maintain that this region is one of the most accessible, inviting, like if you so desire to get plugged in,
right?
There are a couple of stops to make. There's a couple of folks to meet, and they will send you on to the and it is like this, I'm here to connect you with that person. That alone is enough to change somebody's entire worldview.
On today's Debugging Success podcast, we are joined by a leader in the Milwaukee Tech ecosystem. Joe recently stepped into the leadership position at the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition, an organization powering Southeast Wisconsin's tech economy through storytelling, connections, and a network of 140 cross-sector members. On this podcast, we debug the person behind the progress, the passion, the leadership, and the journey. Here's the conversation with Joe. All right. That was Matthew McConaughey, I guess. Hey guys, look, I have been excited for this conversation. I've been looking forward to this conversation. I think I have manifested this conversation. We have Joe, who took over the reins of the Milwaukee Tech Hub, one of the most influential organizations in the city, and in my opinion, going to be one of the most influential organizations in the country. We have an organization that matters a lot, but more importantly, we have a man that cares a lot, and that is Joe. Joe, welcome.
Oh my gosh.
Thank you for doing this. I mean it. You know that I've been bullish. I've been really hoping and rooting for you, and we are here. We're here.
We did it. Naveen, I want you to just be around me all the time. I want you in my life all the time. That intro was that was filling. You've filled my cup today.
Oh, thank you, man. It's something that I've meant, and I've told you this repeatedly. I'm just happy that we are in this space together, and we're gonna talk. And Joe, more importantly, we've had more than 100 days of you in office.
Yeah.
Taking over a great position, big shoes to fill in. Mm-hmm. And those 100 days in office as the executive director of the Milwaukee Tech Hub, I'd love to learn, like, what are some of the things that you've seen once you've taken over, how that process was like, what are the opportunities, and just what the first 100 days in office looked like for you.
Well, Naveen, thank you so much for this conversation. And you're right. You and I, over the years, have had all of these really wonderful moments, and we have shared in that enthusiasm and that energy that this community is building, and the momentum that is here is real. And you and I have had many discussions about how exciting that is. And so to be in a position and both of us growing in our leadership journeys, especially as community leaders, it's just it's a very special thing. And so I'm like 112 days in or something like that. No, who's counting, right? But it was funny because somebody did ask me, like, hey, so how have the first 100 days been? I'm like, I did not do the math on that. And I did the math, and it was the next day that it was hitting 100. Okay. So it was a very timely discussion. And I got to say, so I've been in this space, in this community tech startup innovation for over 15 years now. So it's kind of funny to think about the first 100 days in a new position, because I've been here forever, right? And I think that's a characteristic of my approach in this position now, is to lead with that authentic love for this community, this region, the people that are here. So the first 100 days have been really a focus in on a number of things. Our team, first and foremost, the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition team wanted to kind of get to that full. We were actually sitting around this table last week, and it was our first in-person meeting all together, and it felt like that Avengers Assemble moment, right? Where it's just like everyone, like, look around the room. I did a terrible thing as a leader. I failed. I didn't take a photo of it, which was I know. We walked out and we go, wait, and totally biffed it. So that's me learning and being vulnerable with you all. I missed that moment, but we were there and we were present with one another. And that was a very special thing. So first 100 days, focusing on people, the team, our board, digging with them, getting out there and being with our membership, with our community. It has been an exercise in listening. It's been an exercise in being present and supporting those that are out there doing incredible things, because that is what I see as the true opportunity within Milwaukee. We have this core spirit to innovate and do things differently, but have that like practical mindset, which I think is very interesting, to explore this like practical innovation potential. And for us as a community, practical innovation and doing things smart and strategic, it all comes down to collaboration. So what I've seen over all the years is that Milwaukee is a community and our region. The story is being written right now. It's always been like this real time, hey, let's get after it and do this. And let's do it together. And that combo has been an incredibly special thing. It's something that defines this region. And the trust that has been built over the years because of relationships like this one right 100%. Here at this table. You know, I know that if I ever get a call from you, it's a yes.
Yeah.
It's a let's try it out. If nothing else, like, we're going to have a fun story to tell in a couple weeks. You know, like, that's always the case. And I think Milwaukee does that in a really interesting way. So it's both the thing that I have seen now manifest even greater over the last 100 days, because I've been able to get this kind of new network and get in front of a couple of new folks at least, right? And so that new opportunity to explore this trusted relationship, to collaborate together and take some bigger swings, I'm constantly being reminded of how important that is for our community and for this region. So that's what I've like seen. It's a combination of like kind of surprised me that there's already been so much that has happened, because I took the moment to reflect on all of this and what the last 15 years of my career path and focus on community building has generated. And I can tell you that 5 years ago, the types of conversations that we're having they were just not even a fleeting thought, not a spark. It would be like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if, and then everyone kind of rolled their eyes, be like, we'll never get there though. There's something different today, and I'm just excited to be here for that. And whatever I can do to usher it in, I'm here for it.
I think you're the right man. I've always believed that. You said something about that 15-year journey.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about perhaps 15 weeks, but the journey is 15 years.
Yeah.
So I'd love for you to just perhaps like unpack a little bit, because you took over a big position, and how has that led, to your leadership? How was it when you received the news that, yes, this is now a new reality, and you will be the one that people will be now looking up to, being in the spotlight, and also taking the responsibility for those decisions. So how was that? That's loaded. Hey guys, thank you again for listening to the podcast. A quick break from the pod to talk about the people who are really supporting us, the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition. Now, if you guys are listening to this and have a great startup idea that you've been wanting to pursue, I'm having something right for you guys. That's the 4M. They're here to help you to get to the next level. 4M is a free, community-led initiative supporting new founders across Milwaukee. The best part is no experience is needed. So you can start your startup journey at mketech.org/4 -M. Do check that out, guys.
The last part is probably the one that resonates the most. Taking the responsibility for some of these decisions or pursuits, or where to focus our time, attention, and resources. That part hits me in a very real way. I'll be honest though, the other components of like the spotlight piece, I've always viewed my position and expenditure of energy and time into this community as just a constant investment. And so that's why the 15 years of time leading up to this, it's not like this journey begins 100 days ago.
Exactly.
It's been ongoing, and I've only ever led in so much as I try to create and empower as many people around me as possible to become leaders in their own rights. I think that's been a defining characteristic of my leadership style, is to leave a more leaderful community behind me, right? So it is an opportunity to create stages and spaces. It's an opportunity to say, hey, I think you should speak at this thing, or, not to necessarily just find yourself constantly in that spotlight.
Yes.
I think it's a very powerful thing when, and I remember the first time I met you, and, we developed this great relationship over time, but at the same time, it's like, then I see you raise your hand and say, I want to get behind the mic. I want to get on stage. I want to present my startup concept. I want to start this new thing. I want to create this event together. And then it's I'm here to support that, right? That's all I can really or should really do as a leader. I'm not here to take any oxygen out of a room. I'm here to pump some in. So that's an interesting visual. The bike pump, whatever I can do. So that 15-year journey now, I have found myself falling in love again with this community over and over and over. And I'll be transparent with you. And this is a moment of honesty. There were a couple of years ago when I was leading the Commons under the Greater Milwaukee Committee. The Commons was all about sparking that entrepreneurial and innovation mindset. And yes, we started a little bit more in the collegiate space, but then got into the corporate space. And we facilitated a lot of programs. We put on a ton of experiences and designed some really interesting things for interesting folks. But it started to pull away from the tech space a little bit. And in fact, it was our early partnership with the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition that kept us in the tech space and had me one foot in. But I started to shy away from it just a little bit. And I don't know if I've ever really told anyone this story. Because I was leaning into more of the core of, as a community, how are we empowering others? This theme I was talking about, and I was finding that in the civic and social space. So working with more nonprofit leaders focused on issues that are very serious to our community, and I do believe that with a tech mindset and that type of entrepreneurial, let's think of big ideas and go further. I was trying to bring that into those other spaces and those types of conversations. And as we got to this point where I saw my next step in my career, now going into the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition, I was like, I fell back in love with that. I was like, I was kind of a half step out for maybe a year or two.
Really?
And I still show up all the things and all that sort of thing. But in the same vein, I was like, I don't know, maybe I'm kind of getting into an entirely different network, and I was open to that. And I think it was a really healthy new perspective and mindset to bring back into the tech space of how are we really digging in and addressing more systemic issues in our work. And when we think of our tech talent pipelines, when we think of how we are engaging a community so that in a very inclusive way, we are lifting up everyone, none of the principles really changed here, but I was able to bring in some new ideas and new tactics. So then, getting into the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition, now stepping into this position as the leader, I bring all of that to the table. And so I recognize that in my career journey, it is this, you need to shift perspective for a moment so that you can bring something new to the table. You need to get out of tech for just a second to be thinking about the true human nature of a growth mindset and what it means to have a community get built up around that. But then you can go right back into tech and be like, oh yeah, let's do this and have a conversation about AI. But underneath the surface, we're like doing something a little bit interesting for the human and for the people and for this region and for the culture and the embrace our history, but think about the future. You just start to think a little bit differently, and that is critical. And so I know that journey's not over. I am in like very much so learn as much as possible, as fast as possible mode. Be listening and maintain that connection into the community and the individuals and the organizations here, to be thinking about how we convene people, how we listen to them, how we react and experiments. And so all of that still remains true. It's just, every now and then, like a little bit of a shift in perspective is really healthy. And as a leader, I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to grow and offer something new. I'll stay after that.
Yeah, I think what you just said, Joe, is also kind of a masterclass in leadership. There were a few points which I picked up, and I just wanted to reflect back on you. Yeah. One of the things you said, I really love that, is a leader's measures on how many new leaders you are creating. That was the first piece of it.
Yep, we need that flywheel.
Yes.
Yeah.
The second part which you mentioned, which I really loved, is yes, tech can be your tool set, but it's ultimately serving us humans. Mm-hmm. So it's the community, it's the collaboration, and it's the connection.
Yep.
So you've kind of focused on that more. And the other piece which I knew you would say is like it was less about the spotlight and more about like what you could bring light to.
Yes.
And I love that analogy. Like it's not to take the oxygen out, but how can we that give first mentality. I think that's really cool. This could be covered in just this small snippet. What people in MBA class about leadership and ethics and all take 8 weeks.
So that's why I love talking to you. You like boil that right down. I was like, too many words. You got your 3 points. That's I'm taking notes from you now. This is good. But no, you summarized it very nicely, and I'll reinforce then, going back to your question before, those first 100 days, I was focused on the team and the people.
Yeah.
And then the other half of that, it was around simplifying, clarifying, truly understanding in our portfolio of offerings, in our strategy that we've worked with our membership for, 6 years now, and understanding where does this all go and what does this all mean? Can we be boiling this down to think about what platforms are we creating? What systems are we creating so that you can invite more people to participate, more leaders to lead?
Exactly.
And that spotlight gets bigger and bigger and brighter and more oxygen and like all the metaphors. And now you have something very interesting happening in Milwaukee. Yeah.
Magic happening.
And that's what we hear from people coming outside of our region and visiting, or whether they're just, popping in for the weekend or they're dropping their kids off at, school, for college. And saying, hey, I wanted to catch coffee and just learn a little bit more about what's going on in Milwaukee because I've been hearing X, Y, and Z.
Ah, okay.
And people know now something's going on. And I had this a moment of realization. This couple weeks ago, I was helping out with NVNG, their conference, right? So that's a fund of funds here in town, and they're bringing in for the third year now. So 3 years in a row, they've been bringing in all these outside investors, venture capitalists, corporate venture, and bringing them to Milwaukee to have this day-long conference. It keeps on getting bigger. It keeps on getting better. It was insanely cool. All right, so year 3, and I'm just like, this thing is flying. Each year, I've moderated this panel of startup founders, okay? And it's a ridiculous panel. There were every year, it's 9 people on a panel, and we have an hour, all right? So, it is lightning round after lightning round after another lightning round. Yes, quick. But the idea is, for the first 2 years, there was this theme of why are you building in Milwaukee? Why are you building in Wisconsin? What does this state, this region have to offer? What do we need everyone in the room to know about investing here? And in a way, that's us trying to say, this is why we belong at the table. And like, look at us. And, you know, you think that we're really small, but we've got something here.
Right.
Which is good. But year 3, we don't need to ask those questions anymore. It was, let's talk about the founders that are on this panel. Let's talk about how important it is for them to have corporate partners. We no longer were in a position or had this desire to justify why we were at the table. Everyone in that room was coming to our table and wanted to be there because they know something's happening here.
Yeah.
It was that transition was a very cool thing. And I didn't realize it until we were doing our final prep with the panelists when they all were saying, because they're from across the country, a few were local, and they were all saying, it is such an honor to be on this panel. I love that we get to be in this spotlight, that this stage was made large enough for us 9 startups, you know?
Right.
And yes, we literally had to rearrange the stage to accommodate all of them. But that was a very nice visual, tangible metaphor for what I'm describing here. Like that stage got bigger, the spotlight and the message was there that everyone wanted to be in this room together from across the country because something's happening in our region and it's positive. There's momentum. There's growth. People are tangible. In on that. It's tangible.
Yeah. I love what you said there. Is this more of a mindset shift? Because sometimes, you know, we're looking to have somebody else give us a seat at the table.
Yeah.
And whereas you're saying here, no, we can create our own table. We can bring our own chair.
Yeah.
And this is our table.
Yeah.
And you're welcome at our table.
Well, I mean, the desire for validation is real. You know, they have that third-party confirmation that something's happening is great. We are seeing more and more headlines, you know, Southeast Wisconsin is ranked number 2 at blah, blah, blah. You know, like all of that is happening. And it is important. You don't really justify a strong statement and position if you don't have some of that validation. So it is a yes, you need some of that. But then, this mindset, I used the word practical innovation earlier.
Right.
And in the same breath, you can talk about our history of innovation, yes, and solving real problems, yes, but also kind of that Midwest nice, humble, like modest, you know, we're just doing this little thing that's going to change the world. Yeah. You know, like one of those sort of things. Yeah. And I think what's shifting right now is that mindset and that narrative is less of the, oh, hey, just a little something happening over here to, you know what? We've had a couple of wins. We're getting some of that external validation. Maybe being proud of our work and getting a little loud about it is next. And so let's try it on for size.
Exactly.
And you know, again, if there are a couple of things as a leader of this organization I can do, it's to get folks a little bit more comfortable being a little bit louder.
Yes.
About the great things that are happening here, the people that are here, the things we tried, the things we failed at, the things we won at, whatever it might be, can we just get a little bit louder? And that dial can ramp up slowly, but
tell a story.
It's a cohesive story.
Yeah.
Having that sort of narrative that we can build upon, that does a lot to gain outside attention, but it does even more here locally to build that momentum, build that pride, and invite more people into that story. I had a great piece of advice, or maybe it was more of like a perspective, and it kind of goes to a little critique on this word story. Stories have a beginning, middle, and end, whereas a strong narrative can constantly be built upon.
Correct.
That is the platform that you can always add a little bit more into the narrative. And so can we start thinking about narratives instead of stories?
Correct.
Is like kind of an interesting thought, you know?
Yes, yeah.
And I've had that ruminating in the back of my mind for a couple of years now. And so I see that, you know, right now as an opportunity for me to be thinking about what is that narrative. And as I am out in my adventures around town and listening to folks and being at events and being with people and with our members, can I start to get a sense for what that narrative might be and workshop that a little bit. And in conversations like this with you, like the idea of that narrative, yes, something that we can constantly build upon. Yeah. What does that mean for us? So I don't have answers right there. And I don't think it's my job to have the answer, but to spark the conversation and get people thinking that way, I think is that's solid.
And we figure this out together.
Yeah.
Joe, so this brings me, because you talked about like these platforms and systems, right? And how to build that cohesive narrative, if I may say.
Mm-hmm.
In the last podcast, we talked a lot about entrepreneurship and the 4M program and all the cool things that we were doing and we are still doing, and there's great things coming, and we'll get to that as well. But I think to what you've been communicating and what you have been putting out there, the scope of this is much larger. It's much bigger and it's more profound. Those are all the adjectives I could think of.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to unpack some of this and just listen in, because I think a lot of our listeners and perhaps all our connections in Milwaukee from the founders would know about 4M and the grants and all that is great, but there's something even more deeper. So as the leader, and now someone who's driving towards like that 2030, 2040, 2050 vision of how this next quarter of a century looks like. Let's unpack those.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I appreciate you zooming out, and that's what leaders have to do every now and then, right? Because it's easy to get lost in those weeds.
Yes.
It's easy to be thinking about the next event, the next program, the next kickoff for something, the next finale for another thing. We're gathering our members on Thursday. My brain is rattled around this, like all of that. It's so easy to get lost in it. And we summarize internally in our team and with our board members, we summarize all of that work into our go fast work. It's important. It's critical. It's the stuff that you can gather people around, you can convene, you can take photos of it. It's good. It engages a lot. We have a bunch of numbers around all of this. Like, these are important things. Go fast, yes. But we also, as an organization that is thinking into the future, can take some big swings. We are here to think in the long term. We have to be asking ourselves, how are we also going far? So balancing go fast with go far. It's a combo. You have to do both of these things. And across our portfolio, which is designed to build that narrative, and so we have to get loud and shine a spotlight on our community. We have to help its people grow.
Correct.
So whether you were born and raised here, or if you are a transplant here, it's all good, but we have to have that growth mindset and keep on pursuing what's next. So our tech talent pipelines need to be strong. And then number 3, you have to help businesses grow as well. And if that's through sparking inspiration on an innovative new idea, or if it's helping founders get started, helping our largest organizations in town just, get that new product out there, that new service out there, help businesses grow, they can hire the talent, you have more stories to tell, more narrative to build.
Yes.
Right? So that's how it all kind of loops right back together. So when we go fast, when we go far, we believe we're in a position, as that you were describing, what do the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years look like? There's this thought that, what would it look like if Milwaukee or our Southeast Wisconsin, the entire region, just grew faster? Okay, so outpaced the rest of the market. And when it comes to tech talent and tech jobs, there's a lot of numbers that come in as to what, annually, the growth was 1.9%, these sort of things. What would it look like if we were always double?
Oh, okay.
Right? Grow twice as fast. Go twice as far as a region. Do that collectively together. And so whatever the market is, whatever the growth numbers look like, and now you can accommodate for, bullish markets, bearish markets, whatever it might be within the tech space, if you're able to maintain an edge 2x, you're constantly getting ahead. There is no downside to that. So I think that's a very interesting thing to pursue. It is, rooted in some data. We have some empirical evidence here. We can be analyzing and assessing year to year and keep ourselves focused on that type of growth. And again, that's a mindset. That's just let's keep our edge. Let's not compare ourselves to one other community, become the next fill in the blank. We are our own thing.
Yeah.
And we're doing it in a different way. And we're going to go faster. We're going to grow faster.
Hey guys, again, a quick break from the pod to talk about our supporters. That is the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition. They have an AI community. You can join the Milwaukee Tech's growing AI community, a space where corporate innovators, technologists, enthusiasts are all connecting, learning, and growing together. They have a ton of events. You can attend events, listen to expert insights, and embed yourself in that community, all at milwaukeetech.org/AI. I love what you said over there. I think it reminds me of two things. One is like goal setting, correct? That constant goal, right?
Yeah.
And the other term, which I absolutely love, is Kaizen. Consistent change for good.
Yeah.
Correct? That you're comparing to yourself and that continuous improvement cycles.
Yes.
Correct? A lot of Japanese philosophy, Eastern philosophy. Toyota does this quite a lot. So I love those parallels that you're looking at it from just a leadership standpoint and where you're driving it.
Yeah.
Coming down to a little more like of the specifics, you talked about the word portfolio, right?
Yep.
And systems.
Yep.
What are some of those initiatives that is making this outlandish, amazing goal, making it more like real?
Yeah. Well, in each of those three categories that I mentioned earlier, the storytelling, the narrative building, that helps attract talent here. It helps keep talent here. So our platform, if you want to think of it that way, that sits in the middle of all of that is Choose MKE Tech, website that is where we host all of our stories of our members, our job board, our events board, resources for the tech community. It is this ever-growing, ever-changing platform. And Gwen and our team does an amazing job of getting this thing out there. We have a full campaign that's been attracting a ton of attention. We get thousands of visitors outside of our region every single month looking at our job board, looking at our events board, like getting a better understanding of what's happening in our region when it comes to hashtag MKE Tech, right? And Brandon, I did the thing.
Yeah, we should do that. Okay.
Freeze frame. Okay. Perfect. To keep on building upon that. And we're a group that experiments. The team comes and says, hey, I got this cool idea for something. We go, yeah, how do we make it work, right?
Yes, and.
Exactly. And yes, and. So, for example, in a couple of weeks, we're doing this sit-down series where we have a leader within an organization sitting down with another rising leader within their own organization. So, it's a pseudo intergenerational, interdepartmental, like different stages and phases of your career type of a conversation. But we're going to be talking about their perspectives on how the organization innovates, how they embrace technology, the culture that they have within, how they embrace the community and the ecosystem around them, and just like to explore those spaces in between and to have an interesting conversation with some folks. So we're like, capturing this, and that'll be part of our campaigns as we, again, shine that spotlight and tell these stories and build upon this narrative. Some interesting, new work that's coming out that we're exploring right now is how to bring people to the region and make the landing here fantastic and really sticky, right?
Okay.
So when you have somebody coming into this community, especially the tech startup innovation community, I maintain that this region is one of the most accessible, inviting, like if you so desire to get plugged in,
right,
there are a couple of stops to make. There's a couple of folks to meet, and they will send you on to the net. And it is like this, I'm here to connect you with that person. It is small walkie to its truest degree, where I remember several people that are like, hey, I just moved here and I'm taking the next 3 weeks to meet everyone I possibly can. 3 weeks later, I'm like hearing about this person all over the place because, hey, did you hear that they're here and like doing this thing? And like we talk, but we support. Exactly. It's not a like, oh, dang, like they're trying to do this thing that already happened. And no, we don't do that in Milwaukee. We don't do that in our tech and entrepreneurial ecosystem. So there is very much so that collaborative, let's invite people in and get them plugged in. I'll just caveat that with saying like there is a little bit of energy that needs to be put into that. There's some investment that it doesn't just happen.
Yes.
And I think we all know that. It would be nice if it did, but there isn't like a nice, one stop, like I'm just going to put my profile out here and everyone's going to come to me. There is that sort of like, if you're ready to invest the time into it, you can get dividend returns back. I mean, it is a multiplier. So I encourage people to be specific and kind of selfish, especially when you're new here. We love that. Just got to like make the ask. All right. And we're ready to connect. Okay. So there's like this, platform play that happens there. And so we're thinking about these systems. How do we make it better for people to land here and stay here and get plugged in here? How do we shine that spotlight and build that narrative? In our second bucket, all around workforce, I'll be the first to admit we haven't really had like what I would describe as a big platform scalable idea that has sat within our workforce bucket. For a little while now, we've got some really fantastic programs and partnerships. We've done over the years an incredible job of building connections and partnerships with education institutions, with other nonprofits, with the larger talent ecosystems and its players. That's all there. But it's not necessarily a thing that you can point to. Remember, you got to go fast and go far. You can't just constantly be having the conversation and building relationships. You got to turn that into action and tactical stuff. And so that's where right now, actively, like in real time, we are investing a lot to learn about how we can be supporting specifically mid-career tech talent and their upskilling journey. It's a very interesting slice of the workforce.
Let's unpack that. Mid-career?
Mid-career.
Okay.
Yeah. So think of someone like 10 plus years into their tech career.
Okay.
And they're not necessarily thinking, okay, how do I jump over to be a people leader? They're thinking about how do I continue to advance my tech skills so that I am a valuable, person within my organization.
Relevant, valuable.
Exactly. Both of those things. There seems to be a little bit of a risk that technical talent at its mid-career that is not upskilling might find themselves plateauing or a little bit pigeonholed or feeling like, am I going to just keep on doing this one thing for the rest of my career? Like, what's next? And when you have that growth mindset, when you're asking yourself what's next, and especially if it's in your technical skilling journey, it's a little bit difficult to find some answers. You might be able to, okay, I'm going to go take that course. I'm going to do that thing. Or, I could go get my MBA. But again, like, nah,
investment. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of questions right there. Yeah. So we find that to be a really interesting space that we're exploring right now. We're bringing in folks to help facilitate that conversation. So specifically later this week, we have the former chief learning officer of LinkedIn coming into town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Kelly Palmer. She recently wrote this book called The Expertise Economy, and she's a global leader on upskilling, on learning, on how tech talent is, advancing their careers and their skills. And we're doing this really cool 1-2-3 combo where we're having our Milwaukee Tech member meeting. And we're going to dig into this. Like, who do we mean when we say mid-career tech talent? What's the real opportunity around this? Like, why is it valuable for us as a coalition to think about upskilling this segment of our workforce? So it kind of gets to the problem statement, the opportunity. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, Kelly's going to be speaking at Southeast Wisconsin ATD, the Talent Learning Forum. And so this is a group of learning and development professionals, and they're the ones that deliver these types of upskilling programs. Okay. So we're going to say, hey, here's who we're talking about. Here's the opportunity right here. What would you give them to make the most incredible learning experience that you could think of that's going to help them upskill on their technical skill sets?
Right.
And so we're going to get creative, and we're going to hear a bunch of insights and a bunch of ideas. Immediately after that, Kelly's going to walk into an executive roundtable with our C-level executives from the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition. And she's going to say, listen, I just talked to your tech teams. I just talked to your talent teams. Here's what I heard. Here are the trends. Here's what I recommend you all do. So it's like this, to borrow a sports metaphor, a bump set spike of 200 plus interactions within 21 hours and 3 events, right?
Okay.
We're just back to back to back. Kelly's like, I've never done anything like this before. Is this how it operates in Milwaukee? And I was like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
But I love that problem statement. Just going back.
Yeah.
I think let's talk a little bit on that, that mid-career, because it did resonate a lot with me.
Yeah.
Because I see when you're out of college, yes, you'll have some fresh skills. Hopefully your curriculum has been relevant. So you're out there, people will be more willing to teach you.
Yes.
But once you've been in an organization, it's those systems, it's those processes, the things that are relevant in that little ecosystem that you get aligned with or trained on.
Which is incredibly powerful. Like mid-career tech talent, I want to get them all into the same room because they have so much industry insight. They have so much technical expertise. They have so much influence within their organization. We need to be able to capture that and do something with it, right? And so if the real hang up or barrier is what's next on the technical roadmap for our organization, well, let's get out there and explore it together.
Okay.
Right? And then go into your org and influence and accelerate and use those insights that you have. Now, this is not to say that we are, as an organization or strategically cutting out early talent or mid
late stage.
Okay. Or later stage talent. This is a little bit of a tip of the spear. We have a concise focus here in that niche initial market or target market, mid-career tech talent, but now you can start to activate them in interesting ways to, let's take that pool and turn them into volunteers and mentors for early talent. Let's connect them with and get mentorship from the more senior talent above them. Okay, great. Like we found this area to focus, and let's start to land and expand outward from there. But again, there's so much potential value with mid-career tech talent and an interesting challenge that they're facing with their next step of their career.
Right.
Again, if they really want to be technical experts, we gotta figure out something. And so we just see a lot of life there. And so yeah, we're actively unpacking this, listening, doing the insight, doing the research, and finding out continued validation that's a great space for us as a coalition. We're just uniquely positioned to be that convener, sit across sectors, sit across sizes of organizations. And, we're not going to replace any of our education institutions. In fact, we're going to augment them, partner with them. You can see, interesting pathways and pipelines that might extend off of a technical upskilling experience that we could offer. And now here's your, collegiate level course that you can really dig into these things. So it's about bringing all those partners together, thinking with a systems mindset and building a platform so that people can continuously leverage it.
Again, that continuous improvement.
You got it. Yeah.
Beautiful. So that's one pillar. Right? You said this in the middle.
I'm being long-winded, aren't I?
No.
Yeah, we had the whole narrative, storytelling, attract talent here. We had help talent grow, the workforce side, and then that third pillar all around innovation, helping businesses grow, helping organizations think differently and push the boundaries. And we have some really interesting, I would say multiple platforms in that area because the market itself sort of splits. We have our 4M Tech Startup Incubator to help entrepreneurs. Again, going back to the 4M. And this thing it was the first program the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition invested in and rolled out.
I remember.
And I was right there from the beginning. So were you. We got to, build that community. We got to explore. We got to, get founders plugged in, and that thing just it's its own engine right now. So we're determined to make that continuous, and relevant offering for the startup community. It does its thing. It's got its reputation. It's awesome. And then at the established company level, what Sanjay on our team is doing with the Synapse initiative is incredibly interesting, powerful. And this year, as an experimental year, we've been able to learn so much as to how to establish a space for mid-market business owners and its leaders initially and specifically within manufacturing. We've been bringing together these rooms so that they could explore their primary business needs and then think about how emerging technology might enable further growth. And a lot of the conversation goes around AI, yes, but it's not exclusive to that. And it starts first and foremost with, what does your business actually need to grow? the real problem to solve. Yes.
Yeah.
And when they can define that, then we can start to talk about what type of technology might be applicable to unlock that type of value. And so I love what Sanjay has done with that program, because it also informs all of the work that we do outside of Synapse, the way that it's structured to create that neutral space to truly think about what is needed. And then we innovate. And then we bring in the people that can help accelerate.
Correct.
Super interesting. And that's a really nice 1, 2, 3. And that's what Sanjay has set up with Synapse, where he brings that room together. These mid-market manufacturer leaders can explore what is needed. They can talk about the innovative new ideas. And then Sanjay has this group of the strategic advisors that help now plug in and bring their subject matter expertise to that table to drive the conversation. And if nothing else, they just build clarity and confidence as to what can come next for that business and really unlock value. I think that's just the brilliant combination of it.
Guys, thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Quick break in the pod to talk about our presenting sponsors, ChooseMKETech.org. If you're looking to grow your tech career in Milwaukee, ChooseMKETech.org connects you to local jobs, events, community groups, all powered by the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition. Find your place in Milwaukee's growing tech scene at ChooseMKETech.org. This is more pertinent than just going after some emerging new cool fad of the day.
Exactly.
Because you're looking at a problem, and let's look at the problem, and then there might be different solutions that might come, and AI may be one of it. Mm-hmm. I call this the ISISP.
Expand on that.
Expand on that.
Because that noise that you just made with your mouth.
ISISP. For those just listening in.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my cat just perked up.
Yes.
What?
It's artificial intelligence solution in search of a problem.
Oh, that's great. I'm writing that down. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of the organizations are now tasked with use AI, find something to use AI in. Mm-hmm. And I think that's such a wrong way to go about it, because you might not need for certain functions. Yeah. Why are you trying to force a solution just to be, trying to be the cool kid on the block?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to do AI agents.
Yeah.
Agent this, agent that. But does your business truly need an agent? Do you have a problem? Do you have a use case? What is the problem?
Yeah.
So that ISISP.
And going back to this whole platform play.
Yeah.
The one truth that will always remain, despite the conversation we're having today around AI, tomorrow around quantum, the next several years about something else, when delivering value to a customer, a business always has opportunity to innovate and unlock new value. They always have things that are keeping them up at night, that are detracting from their growth. They always have these things but if you don't understand the true problem, who cares about the solution, the tool, the technology that would exist on the outside? So don't let it distract you, right? And that's the type of real talk that we have in these very short sessions. Sanjay does a brilliant job of facilitating these things. In just 3 hours, you have these leaders coming out being like, oh, okay, I just broke through all of the noise, all of the clutter, all of the FOMO, all of the headlines that are making me think my business is doomed. When in fact, I just needed to take a breath, sit down, think about what is true for my business and its needs today. And tomorrow too. And then how might I use some type of interesting technology to get this done? And it might not be the most cutting edge AI model or LLM or generative whatever. You might not need it.
Yeah.
You might find that this very simple basic system or offering that really was, dreamt up 25 years ago is exactly what you need. But
simple
now you
automation.
will unlock business value. That is real innovation. That's practical innovation, going back to that word.
Practical innovation and not just spotlight seeking, we are cool innovation.
Yes.
No,
let's be real. You read those headlines and that thing was already invented. It was already done. It already took 6 months to get validated. It already took another 6 months to get written about. You're 3 years too late anyway. So don't get too worried about those types of this is the cutting edge of everything type of headlines.
No, absolutely. I think that headline-seeking mentality is not going to take us far.
Yeah.
It's going to be like substantial problems that we solve. So, okay.
And in the same breath, here I am talking about how we need to get loud and get proud about our work and all that stuff and get the headlines. So I understand like the tension that is existing between this, like get the right headlines and speak true and authentic to ourselves as a region. Yeah. Okay.
Headlines are not bad.
Headlines are good.
Good.
And yes,
just depends how we get those.
Yeah.
Without saying too much. Okay. No, this is great, Joe. So, what are some of these AI initiatives? Because I know everybody would want to know your vision on artificial intelligence, both in terms of the adoption, how we are helping some of our workforce getting acquainted with it.
Mm-hmm.
As well as in the startup land also. This kind of connects everything, I just got reminded of the movie Lion King, when he goes to Simba and like everything the light touches, right? So everything AI touches.
Naveen, what about that dark corner over there? Don't go over there.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, my consistent and rather basic recommendation to everyone on this matter is to create a safe space for people to responsibly explore.
Right.
What I love most about what this wave of generative AI conversation has done for our larger community is that it has made exploring the innovation mindset much more accessible. It got people to think about, wait, how can I do my work a little bit differently? Maybe that same task that I've done the same way for 3 years, I can plug into something and I can explore this prompt and I can get it a little bit faster, or it's going to give me a completely different version of it, or it can turn it into a poem for me. Like that alone is enough to change somebody's entire worldview in a way. Like that's getting exaggerative, but I don't know if exaggerative is a word. It's exaggerating.
It is now.
Yeah, it's grandiose to think that something like that can change an entire worldview. But in the same way, yes, it does. It very much so gets people thinking about whether monotonous work or the creative work that is interesting and different every day. It has them thinking about it in a slightly different way. And that's to imagine what if, that's kind of like one of my brand values. What if we tried something a little bit differently? What if we did it this way? Accessible AI tools and specifically LLMs, that has created space for people to just think a little bit differently. And so as an employer or as a leader of your department or organization, can you give your coworkers, your employees, the teams around you, proper, safe space to dream and explore these things?
Experiment.
Experimental mindset does wonders. And so can you do that? Can you keep it real? Can you keep it responsible? And now as a leader, you're doing something important for your team. You also heard me talking about the Synapse initiative, where it's like, as a leader, you should be identifying where you can drive unique value in your business. And so now if you're able to give people a safe space to experiment, adopt the mindset, and then you say, hey, everyone, we're after this to unlock new value here. They have the tools, they have the direction, you can do something with that. That's where real like collective innovation and innovation strategy within an organization, it does something because you've set vision, focus, and you've given people the tools and process. That's a good combo. That's a winning combo.
It's a framework.
It's a framework.
Okay.
Yes. And so get after that. Now, specifically which tools, like, all these sort of things, like I have no concrete opinions on that. I am in constant learning and absorption mode with it all. And what I believe, and again, that platform, the truth underneath all of it is that the mindset change is the thing that is going to ultimately benefit everyone. So be thinking differently about our work is powerful. And we should. I mean, that's where, all about like work reform, right?
Yes. AI or not AI.
Yeah. And the whole like conversation, is it going to be taking our jobs, all these sort of things? No, I think it can make our jobs different. And I think it's our responsibility to use these tools to make our jobs different. Let's unlock new space for us to be thinking about higher level type things. Let's create the space so we can dedicate more time and energy into relationships. We can build more trust with human beings.
Yeah.
Like this is not designed to shift any of that. It's actually opening up this new space. I read a great futurist article that said like the rebirth of creativity is about, to happen, a new renaissance of artists and musicians and what have you. And it's funny because then in, the next headline will be like AI is killing all musicians and artists, and like the creative economy is doomed because you can just plug in a prompt. Well, that's us not necessarily being responsible in so much as let's replace all artists with this. That's not responsible. But also let's be thinking about higher level creativity and not just, I need to draw this thing now, so that there's the technical skill set that can be augmented or offset. But the real human creativity, that's where we have more room now to explore. And so we need to get deeper. And that's a tough space because that's the new one.
Yeah.
Everything we know is sitting over here. The new space, where does this all leave us? And if 20 years from now, I'm going to have a 3-day work week and my other 4 days are spent being a musician or something, like, holy cow, what does that actually mean for me? What do I need to do? Or thinking about music or art entirely differently. Like that's just
elevating consciousness.
Yes.
To a different level to have.
It's fascinating. And so I'm here for that journey.
Yeah. It would be
can't wait.
Exciting to see that and witness that. I think a lot of people are missing this one piece out in the fear that there is, if we do this right, the possibility of unlocking the next level of human endeavor.
Yeah.
That's a real positive thing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Instead of just having a pessimistic, those dangers still exist, but we know them, then we can have safeguard against or for them.
Yeah.
With that, also, I think we touched about AI from like a organizational perspective, but I know if you can bring up Fuse and, the amazing things that have been happening there. I attended Fuse, by the way. Phenomenal. The amount of like talent, the quality of the pitches.
Yeah.
This is more, we have a lot of students watching in as well. So yes.
Good to see you. Yeah. So Fuse for several years now has been this wonderful experience for collegiate level students to explore the ethics and impact and how AI is going to be changing the work that they do in the industries that they're going to go into. And I use these kind of odd phrases because it's not an AI like training skill development program. It's more of how is this affecting the future of industries A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and job roles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now you can use this to go and innovate and change the way that type of work in that type of sector shows up, right? So it's this really interesting conversation around the ethics and impact, how to use AI to innovate responsibly and be thinking about that critical layer of this tool, while also thinking about where is my career going?
Yeah.
And I've just found that to be a really powerful combination. And for the students going through Fuse, historically, we've had, I'll like boil it down to just like 2 camps to start with, but about half of the students that go through Fuse are studying what you would describe as a more traditional technical degree.
Okay.
Software developers, engineering, etc. The other half are nowhere near, like they're not in that at all. They're in business marketing, sales, they're in healthcare, they're going to be a nurse, they're going to go into real estate, like all of these other spaces. And that's by design. Fuse is supposed to be this entry point and exploration space for young talent to be thinking about what's next. I shouldn't even say young talent, because the way that this program also breaks down is it's collegiate level.
Okay.
So we will have students that are in high school that are taking college level courses that can apply for Fuse. We have students that are returning students going back to do a career change.
Right.
And, they have...
Age is not the bar.
The age is not the bar.
Okay.
GPA is not the bar. I don't care at all what your scores are on tests and things. It is motivation.
Intent.
And it is, yes, the intent to learn, to grow, to do that as a community, and to explore in this safe space that we create within Fuse. And then it's just about activating our members, bringing them in as coaches. You've done that for us. You've been a guest speaker for us. You've shown up at the showcase at the end to celebrate with them all. It is that welcome committee into the Milwaukee Tech ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
And for this layer of talent, I talked a lot about mid-career earlier. Hey, now we have this entry. We've got mid-career. Can we connect them? Can we get them interacting with one another? See the pathways, see the inspiration, understand, what today's conversations are really like within an organization. That's all huge. Fuse has been a really a point of pride for our organization. And you hear several of them. We do what we're proud of, and we continue to pursue that and explore it and grow it and scale it and do all that good stuff.
All that kind of culminates again to that piece that we talked about, the narrative, and how everything we are adding one piece. Because you look at 4M, you look at Fuse or any other things, happening in the city, but where does this all add up to? I think that's the key aspect.
And if we do these things right, it's 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 = 20, right?
Yes.
And this accelerant, and we know that it's not our own job. I was mentioning earlier, speaking to my own position as a leader, I'm not there to suck up spotlight. As an organization, just the same, right? We're not there to say we solve for all of this. There are so many organizations, partners in our community. This opportunity to coalesce, convene, and share in that narrative and work with one another, that's where all of this gets incredibly powerful. And I love that. But, we've also seen just internally, a student goes through the Fuse summer program. They come up with this interesting idea for a startup. They go into 4M. They're in 4M for a while. They, maybe meet someone else and then pursue this different project. They join our AI community. They're there at all the events for that. So it's very much so let's keep on building on this. But meanwhile, we're also plugging them into, hey, did you know that your school has this one incubator program? You should go into that. You should try this. There's a speaker coming up, different organization, Wisconsin Tech Month that's going on right now. Get out there. Yeah. Meet people. Let's go. And if we see each other there, I'm going to introduce you to a bunch of people that, but you got to ask, you got to let me know, who are you looking to get connected with? And ask, yes. Got to have the ask. And I'm here to connect you with folks. And then there's 5 more people that are going to connect you with 5 more people. So it gets fast.
I loved what you said there about connection, because I was there for Kathy's retirement.
Yeah.
And she mentioned about how connections was one of those aspects about the Milwaukee Tech Hub that was looked at with intention.
Yes.
And wanting to keep that going forward.
Yeah.
So
that is such a critical part of our value proposition as well as brand.
Yeah.
Because connections kind of wrap up into a person too, right? Yeah. You are a fantastic connector. I try my best to do that as well. Kathy was talk about master classes. I was like, how did you just do over 5 years, I think, because she tracked all these things too. And I'm doing my darndest, speaking of shoes to fill, right? But
you're doing a great job.
2,000 plus connections or something. Wild.
Yeah.
And I know it was over 2,000. It was 2,100 or something. Insane. But also, they were quality. They were real. They were authentic. They were relational, right? Hey, you should know this person because this. And not just they're looking to get a new client or a new business. It really was a meaningful introduction. And that's a space where in this idea of building community and continuing to foster connections like this, to live out that brand that she so well captured and celebrated, we're rolling out this thing called Connection Catalysts. And so what we are doing is we're finding a couple of key folks in our community to pilot this with us. Naveen, I'm going to ask you to become a Connection Catalyst here live on the podcast.
Done. On the record. Yes.
And so here's what it is.
Yeah.
A Connection Catalyst is someone identified within our community that has a unique ability to make connections and facilitate high quality introductions. And they're always connecting the dots, right? You think like that. Not everyone does. You do. If everyone did, that is major growth. So again, thinking about systems, can we find the great examples of people that connect dots and do selfless introductions? Ones that are just going to be good for our community and its connectivity.
Yes.
And can we make it easier? Can we give them a little bit more spotlight? Can we support them in those? For you, it's a day-to-day simple task, but at the same time, like why not celebrate this? And so our hypothesis is, can we turn our community into a bunch of Kathys?
Yes.
And everyone
systematize.
And turn it into a system. So right now, Gwen, because she is the master connector and community builder, and she's thinking about Choose MKE Tech as this platform, right? Can we not only have here a bunch of programs, here's a bunch of jobs, here's a bunch of events, here's a bunch of people that can get you plugged in as well. Interesting, right? So now I could say, listen, I'm new to this tech space here in Milwaukee.
Yes.
And Naveen, it looks like you've got some really amazing connections, network experience. Can I reach out and can we have a conversation about who I need to know, where I need to go, all these sort of things. What's next for me? You do that. And now we as narrative builders, can we capture these moments and celebrate these moments and start to inspire others to do these types of introductions and turn it into a big flywheel?
Right. Compounding
system,
effect.
The compounding effect of network. Yeah.
Joe, this is so important. A lot of people don't realize that if somehow your parents or your background or whatever your past life has been, everybody does not inherit a network.
No, they don't.
That's not a thing that anybody in your network can connect you to someone who can guide you exactly to where you want to be at.
Yeah.
And unless you don't have that, or let's say if you're not devoid of that, you'll never understand that, oh, this is really hard to meet people.
It is hard.
And that's why having this system, so we congratulate you, and whatever I can do in my capacity to help you, always in, brother. Yeah. But I'm really appreciative of the fact that we are systematizing and making a process that can help on an ecosystem city level,
right?
That helps people with exactly that.
Yep,
getting a network.
So if they have the ask, and if they put the ask out there, we as a community need to be able to respond.
This is beautiful. I'm glad that we got to cover so many things with you, Joe. Every time I talk to you, I feel like there's always something like left. So we might have to do one more.
We might have to do one more of these. Yeah. I mean, and first of all, you're a brilliant interviewer. So thank you for this opportunity. And I know we did navigate through several different spaces. What I'm hoping, if nothing else, you're taking away from this interview is that, I'm 100 days in, and it's been an important 100 days, but those are past. And I am beyond excited for not just the next 100 days, but the next 1,000 days. Like there is something very real. Our organization is thinking about the systems that help capture and propel this momentum that we have here in our region. And it's people like yourselves all around this table that are making it happen. And we want to be there to offer you that stage, whatever we can do to clear a path and make y'all like just knock the leadership thing out of the park.
Yeah.
That's real. And that's what we're here for.
That is amazing. And we want to live by what we say. So I'm actually going to give you this platform again at the end to talk about these asks, because people are going to be watching us on LinkedIn, on YouTube. We're going to be posting this everywhere. So people who are tuning in, what's your ask for them?
Well, this is coming from my last role within the Milwaukee Tech Hub Coalition. So, 113 days ago, I was the director of engagement.
Okay.
And the opportunity to engage in the growth of this network is here and it's real. Milwaukee, this narrative is being built right now. And it's like that saying about when's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago. And the second best time is right now.
No.
If you have not yet been engaged in this larger tech ecosystem in our region, now is the time to get engaged. You can make your mark. You can get connected. You can get plugged in. You just got to have that ask. You got to have that intent and that motivation. And you have a lot of people and organizations that are ready to help capture some of that energy, propel some of that energy, give you that stage, give you that spotlight, and do something interesting.
Beautiful. We'll link all of those in our descriptions. Wherever you're watching this, you'll find. I would advocate that people who are looking to be catalyst connections, looking to get into the community, looking to get their grants. We have a gamut of a lot of things, right?
Yeah, there's a portfolio, right?
Portfolio is big. The scope is big. But Joe, again, I mean this when I say it. I have such high, I would not say the word expectations, but just things that I know I'm going to see with you being at the helm. The collaborations with others, making it more inclusive, making it more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
How about it?
Yeah. So thank you again for everything that you're doing. There are people who love you, who love your energy, and that's compounding. And we're going to see the effect of that in the decades to come. So I'm hyper bullish and hopeful that there's big change and big impact coming to some of these big problems that we're trying to solve.
Same, buddy.
Joe, thank you so much.
Thank you, Naveen.
I know
awesome. These mics won't pick up a hug that we have later, but yeah, trust me, it's coming, man.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening in and tuning in. Thank you.